Yeah, what's good? Yo, what's good? Anybody there challenge me? Anybody has any questions? Pull up. They're looking to break it down. Can God be beat? Think about it. All the complaining people do, everybody got solutions. Everybody got something to say about how the world should be ran, voting on presidents. You know, they will join Democratic Party, Republicans. They want everybody got to tell everybody how to have sexual intercourse, everything and anything. People are sitting here trying to say, "Oh, are we saying that God has lost control?" Speak up. I'll forever hold your peace. Are we introducing free will versus dictatorship? Let's have the conversation. So until when y'all ready to hit the link, we can have this conversation. Y'all can have any questions in the chat. If you have any questions y'all want to say in the chat, we can chat it up. I'm open to all questions and any questions. Keep it respectful. Yeah. What up? Who's up in the chat? Where's my chat at? So what's good? We know God can't be beat. It's really an easy question to answer. You know, but some of us seem to think that God has lost control. Some people think that God has fumbled the ball. Some people think that God is losing. And I'm interested to hear those who have this ideology, or I'm interested to hear those who have a different ideology. I dropped the link. Why y'all do that? So if y'all really think that, y'all have any opposing, views, pull up. Let's be known. I'm just waiting. We can chat about it. You ain't got to hit the link. You're a little shy, camera shy, or maybe you don't have the confidence. We can chat it up in the chat, and we go from there. Because I know truthfully that God can't be beat, and I think everything's going exactly the way God wants it to go. I mean, anybody dare challenge that? Prove me wrong. Prove me that God is inadequate. Prove me that God has fumbled the ball. Prove it to me. Now, that's a lot of proving to do, but hey, I believe there's people on this internet think that, that they can, they got it figured out. I'm just saying, right? Pull up. Anybody wants to have this conversation or on chat or in the panel. I dropped the link. Because, God is a great God. Let's go. So nobody might not mind. I might have to end the stream. Nobody want to come. That might be that might be difficult for people to, because they might not have the proper information. Let me get on camera here real quick, so they know who this is. What's up? So put a face with this. Let me put a face with this. Let's do it. So where y'all want to start? There go my boy Sophisticated. Man, when I'm talking about Sophisticated, this is a more religious type setting, but it explains the physical world. A lot of people complain about why life is happening the way life is happening, and then really, it's due to lack of faith too, right? That God has this under control, right? Everybody's telling you, oh, you need to do nuclear family. If you want success, 50-50. You want to be rich, here's this get rich scheme, this plan. You can get rich, just follow this right here. But in actuality, everything's already set in its purpose. So this might be a very difficult conversation to have. Maybe I shouldn't have tried to stream right now. But I just wanted to see if somebody would come up and challenge. Sophisticated. If anybody want to challenge, because I know that because we openly know that God can't be beat. So that's a pretty easy question to answer. But does that bring? But do we think that God gave us free will? Do we think that it's possible that we're doing what we want to do and how we want to live our life? Is our life exactly the way we want it? I mean, those are the questions, right? Some of the questions. Yeah, this is a just top say. I'm just trying to figure out how to bring up some. I need to figure out how to bring up some. What was that? Uh-oh.
Came for the smoke, nigga. No.
I got you. This ain't your cup of tea.
So let me so you think like everything's pretty much mapped out?
Yeah. It would have to be.
Believe in free will?
Free will is only a figment of the imagination.
So why? I do got a little bit of pushback for that. Because I do think people got choices. And I think he lets that play out. Because if that's the case, then why do people gravitate towards like heinous crimes and shit like that? You're saying like he's putting people in those places, he's making them do those type of acts?
Of course.
That's wild though.
Because think about it, right? Let's visit this for a minute. Put yourself as the creator, right? Let's just say you were to create something, right? And your creation was just messing up so bad. What would you do?
It just depends.
You wipe it out, right? You start over again. the easier playing to that, right? The easier play to that will be start right. If it's so much that you're losing, nobody will listen to you. None of your creation want to do what you say, do. You tell them all, and you put everything, and they keep doing everything bad, right? Would it be easier just to wipe everything out and start over?
No, definitely. I see that point, but you could also sit back and be like, you know what? I already took that path before. I gave y'all enough knowledge. Let me see what y'all choose.
What?
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's what's kind of happening versus like everything's already set in stone. I think it's like, let me see if there's actually a pocket full of people that make good decisions versus. So it's kind of like the game of Sims and shit.
So the question I have for you, if you're the creator, right? This is hypothetical. Let's say you're the creator. Didn't you create the creation to be the way the creation is supposed to be? Isn't it the variance of your, of express of how you think you put that in them? Everything that you want them to be. So if you make a spoon, right? Let's take it simple. You take a spoon and you make a spoon. What that spoon gonna be?
Could be a spoon.
Okay then. Spoon just can't get up, so I'm gonna be a fork, right? Or the butter knife, right? Unless you made the spoon to imply that, maybe you can be a butter knife. But I'm just saying.
See, you ain't make the spoon that complex where it has like decision making capability. So that's where I think this gets a little more complex because like with people, you got different influences and stuff like that. But even at the end, the person that creates everything, it's like everybody's gonna have to go up there and explain themselves why they chose different paths and why they made different decisions. So that within itself is even powerful if you think about it. Because it's like, hey man, regardless what y'all do, y'all got at the end of the day, you gotta come see me. You gotta explain the fuckery at the end of the day.
But you're the creator.
Yeah, but it's almost like you're the creator, so you're creating the entertainment for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
But
You
I'm just
just
saying,
get to sit back and watch it play out, and it's like you got to come and explain yourself to me
come see you about what?
why you chose those different paths
You're the
and
creator.
pivoted from what I the rules and stuff that I gave you.
So do you think? Okay, so let me ask you a question. So then, I'm gonna let you entertain your view of free will, right? I'm gonna let you entertain this. Meaning you're gonna have you can say whatever it is you think to make your argument, right? I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna push back. I'm just gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna come in after and then break what you said down. So, and these questions will be leading you to give your premise. So, do you think? So, why is not a person can't pick their parents before they're born?
You said why you can't pick your parents?
Yeah, why you can't pick your parents before you're born?
Because you're a product of procreation. So it's just like, man, if you derive from that, you can't pick your parents because you're a product of those two. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so
All right.
why can't you pick your race?
Because again, it ties into your parents, the two individuals that procreate what you're going to kind of come out to be.
Okay, okay. Why can't you? Why can't everybody be a millionaire?
Because again, the parents is going to kind of dictate, where they live, how hard they work with choices they make. So that's going to kind of, impact the child to a certain degree.
Okay, so why can't two people who love each other work it out for the most part? Why can't they work it out?
That's kind of complex. It depends on the choices they make.
But
They
it's
might be picky. They might have preferences. They might, somebody might have cheated, finances, So
okay.
there's a lot of stuff that could impact those decisions.
Okay, it's nuances.
Yeah, absolutely. Good,
Right.
good word. Shout
So
out to Ruth.
would it be fair to say? Would it be fair to say that majority of all people on this earth most likely won't have the same outcome?
No, that's a fact. Because majority of people won't do the same things. They won't make the same choices. So, for example, you could take two people that within a household and they won't have the same trajectory because a kid might be lazy compared to the other person.
Okay. Why can't I be an engineer?
Because you didn't want to be an engineer.
Because I want, you say because I didn't want to be, or I was not capable?
Yeah, you didn't want to.
So you're saying everybody's capable of being an engineer if they want to be?
Maybe somebody that's not that slow, that can't grasp certain things, because there are those people that they just can't function for whatever reason, how they built. But for the most part, if you put that work in, you could be an engineer. Now, to be a good one, that's where the nuances come in. But yeah, for the most part, you put that work in, you could be.
Let's put it as to be desirable, to be hired to make a lot of money. Can everybody be an engineer to be desired to make a lot of money?
Oh no, because that's not a guarantee nowhere. Not everybody makes. Okay. Everybody as an engineer don't make a lot of money. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm just saying, but most part they do, right? For the most part. All right. Can anybody make it to the NFL?
Nah.
Why can't everybody make it to the NBA?
Because it's like a skill set. You got to have like some hype in many other cases. You gotta put that work in, train up too. So there's different components. So I see what you're saying. There's some genetics to it, but also, everybody ain't gonna be outside shooting 1,000 baskets a day either.
Okay, so no, I'm just saying. Okay, that's just a small part of it. But what about the health part?
What do you mean, the health to get in the NBA?
Yeah, you got to be healthy, right?
Oh yeah, no facts. Yeah,
you can blow your knee out, you can blow your back out, you can blow out your kidneys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things can deter you, even if you're great, from getting there. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So one more question, and then I'm going to come behind you and just wipe you out. So, So why can't, and this was going to go in more to the relationship aspect, right?
Okay.
Why can't two people who sign up to love each other and sign up to deal with each other's, let's say, imperfections, why do they change throughout time?
Why do they change throughout time?
Yeah.
It's called growth, man. There's growth and there's regression. So it goes on both ways. You know what I'm saying? So some people, man, they might be ambitious. They might, turn to the teachings. They might get religious throughout their life. They might, embrace knowledge. Say, for example, like I met you, you're like, yo, man, you need to get your finances together. You blowing money. I take that wisdom from you. Then I start growing. Say like whoever I'm with, they're like stagnant. And I'm like, hey, listen, you need to, let's get our stuff together. I done talked to Ruthless. He gave me some good game. They might be like, fuck Ruthless, fuck you too. And I might have to jump off. So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff baked into that. So why people might jump off.
So would it be fair to say that the most common thing, which a lot of in these relationships, is finances?
It's a big component. I say why people leave finances. There might be infidelity, but it ties into the bigger picture. Because real quick, before we jump into that, where you was asking about like basketball,
right?
So like you said, if there's health and all those things, why people might not be able to go down that path, but that's not the end all be all. Because say like you don't make it to the league as being an NBA player, you could go be a coach. You could be in the operations of the league. So that's where like a growth could impact, and you could still be attached to it in some facet, but you might not be the NBA player. So you could still have a certain level of success without being the basketball player.
Okay. So then, in conclusion, everything you're saying is
choices. So everybody got choices.
No, you said something different.
No, I'm saying you got choices within there. Like there is some like you're boxed into a certain degree, but you still got choices.
Your conclusion is choices, right?
Yeah, but you got choices.
But your information implies chances. Probability.
No, there's chances in there too. So I ain't neglect that. I'm just saying, like you got chances, but you still got choices, even when there's chances built into that.
No, I'm just saying this. We went down the list of everything, right? Why can't you choose your parents? Well, you don't have the right because you don't have that choice, pretty much, right? Why can't you choose your race? Well, you don't have that choice, right? Why can't you choose to be an NBA player? Because there are things that can stop you from being an NBA player. Now, right? You can blow a knee out. This has nothing to do with choice. Yeah. Right? It has absolutely nothing to do with choice. You're doing everything right. You're going to school. You get the books in. You're staying out of trouble. You're shooting the shots, and you're highly recruited. And boom, you blow your back out, lower back out on the post move. Some guy, it was an awkward move, and boom, all your Achilles, right? Then we talk about engineer. First of all, you got to be crazy. It's only less than 1% of the population can be engineers, for real, right? It's just people. First of all, you have to be. It has to be desirable to you, number one, right? You got to have a passion for it, because being an engineer ain't just the most. I would say, I would definitely try NBA, play basketball. That's more fun than being an engineer, right? Yeah. So most people don't desire those specific functions. So it's not that. And then they also don't have the knowledge, or they don't have the capacity, because everybody don't have the capacity to be a doctor, engineer, lawyer. They just don't have the capacity. It takes a certain capacity that have to be innate in your genes for you to be a lot of these careers that are, I would say, that are high earners and highly volatile to our civilization. And one of those jobs being, let's say, a doctor, right? Or even an engineer, because these cars being made, these planes that we fly, doctors, operation heart surgeons, these things are less than 0.1% of the population will ever even get into that field, because these people only have the capacity to get there. So once again, right, everybody is born with a certain gift. We agree with that, right? To do things. Now, Does everybody able to achieve all their gifts? No, but there are multiple gifts, multiple talented that we are capable and where our capacity is. So this is why free will doesn't exist. Because though I have a plan to be an NBA player, but my body may betray me, or I just might not be good enough. Right?
But is being an NBA player the end all be all? You can't pivot from that. And
no, I'm just making a point.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Dream not being fulfilled because I might think I'm a hell of a player, but the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Correct? Somebody got to draft you.
No, facts,
Somebody got to like you. You know, these drafts are very intense. They ain't just, oh, we pick him and go. No, they go to their family's house, eat dinner with them. Right? They have these huge conversations, and because they've invested a lot of money in these people, right? Talk about millions of dollars. So they're not just saying, oh, pick him, he's good. You got to be good and you got to be competent.
No, that's right, sure.
So when they sit down and talk to you, okay, this guy can run my team, or this guy can come in and play a valuable asset to this organization. So my point is, free will is only a figment of imagination. It is just something we tend to lean on when it comes to judging people. Oh, well, you should have did better. And for example, relationships, choose better, right? How do you choose better? How do you choose better? How is that possible, right? When people have the ability to pretend, correct?
To a certain degree.
No, to a great degree. Some people are, especially
to pretend.
Especially if, listen, there are certain. It's very one thing about expectations especially for women to men. So it's a lot harder for men to meet the expectations of women because it's a lot harder to deceive her. So if you say you got all this money, she gonna date you for years. It's hard to keep your money funny, right? It's hard, difficult. But for her, our expectation is more just be agreeable, have maybe a little career, right? Be beautiful. It's very simple, more simple, and right, and she can easily play into your hands, right? Easily play into you. Oh yeah. How's your day? And and you think she's the greatest woman in the world.
But see, I'm glad you walked down this path. See, that's why I'm 50-50. I'm like, I date like the females do. So that would be a choice where I'm like, you know what? I know all these dynamics, but you got to actually come with some intangibles that I could actually measure and that you got some skin in the game. So that's what I'm saying. That would be a choice where I could like balance the playing field. And guys have the option to do that also, but they don't.
But she doesn't have to become the sole provider, though. All she does is have to have a decent job that brings something, maybe in because your requirements or your expectations for a woman, right, is to be an earner to a certain facet. She doesn't have to out-earn you. You wouldn't mind if she did, but I'm saying that's not a, what I mean? If she has, let's say she's a bank, she works at a bank, right? You're not gonna like not date her. Oh, you work at a bank? Oh, I'm done with you. No, you're gonna be like, all right, cool. Right? Because you're gonna think, okay, that is and she can play with that job and play into the things you look. She knows, because we're pretty simple. Men, we're simple creatures. We're more simple. We're less complex when it comes to our women, right? We don't want a lot.
But is that a choice? That we're so simple? You saying we can't step out of that construct?
No, because a lot of our value comes from economic success, our ability to protect. All those things make up our value. So we don't want really now.
So how come like homeless guys could get some bitches then?
Well, they might have a woman every 3 days because them women are using them for drugs, right? Women they're getting are drug users, right? And the drug users are just like gold diggers, right? They're the same level, right? They want you to buy them drugs, and them guys cannot afford them girls' appetite because they barely can afford their habit, right? So they're short-lived. All those little relationships are very short-lived. They just cycle. She stays for 3 or 4 days, smoke up all the drugs, and he said, "Okay, you got to go, baby. I just can't afford you because now I I need to get high, right? She's like, off to the next, right? Then there's another guy. That's how it goes, right? That's how it goes down there because we all know that drugs can be very expensive when you overuse.
Yeah.
So
No.
ultimately, through this whole situation, if you really look at life in its true form, right? The numbers tell
Hold on. What's the true form?
life in its true form is nobody's perfect.
Okay. No, that's facts.
Okay.
That's pretty simple.
This is not an option. This is not negotiable. This is not something you can conquer. Nobody's perfect. So when you're looking for people to deal with in your life, whether it be friends, girlfriend, or whatever, most likely you just want to get people that you got a lot more in common with. And maybe y'all like to do the same things, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't trust these people to your bank account. You don't trust these people around your wife or get out there like that, right? You have boundaries because you understand that, these might be my dudes, but there's limitations to how much I'm going to interject them in my life because there's things I need to protect. Because nobody's perfect, right? They might want to steal it. Hey, man, here's my bank account information. Yeah. Anytime you need some, bag of chips, you need whatever you need, just go to my bank account. Withdraw what you need. You come back, your shit emptied out.
No, that's facts. No, there's definitely limitations. I got you.
Right, because you ultimately don't trust people. Ultimately, right? You trust to a degree, but not to a great degree where you're that openly. So this is why I say there's no free will because there's nobody's perfect. 2, pretty much the average American will be average. At the end of the day, I don't care what y'all try to talk about. 2-parent household versus 1-parent success. The numbers don't lie. 15, 85. Maybe an inch, maybe 0.1% on the rich, more richy people, and maybe 0.1 more poor people or more degeneracy. But, pretty close. It's 15, 85.
That's what's the 85 for? Hold on. What you said?
The average Americans.
Okay. I got you.
Who aren't rich, but who not everybody's poor. Some are poor, but I'm just saying the reason why I put it all into average is they have the things they need to survive.
So you're saying like most people being average, they're pretty much just going with the flow of life. They can't really impact nothing. Yes. They're just going with the flow.
Yes. So this is why I think free will is a myth. But
you still don't think people got choices within that?
Let me think about that so I can address it correctly. So when it comes down to choices, correct? And this is where I know 100%, right, that it's no free will, right? Most things that are, let's say, egregious, like domestic violence, robbery, stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. Comes with circumstance and situation. Most domestic violence, nobody goes in to do this. Nobody signed up to do these things, right?
What you talking about? Crimes?
I would say, no. What I'm saying is crime. I don't look at crime as a choice.
Why? You gotta break that down.
Because in my belief, wrong is wrong, no matter how you look at it. Just certain wrongs might require a certain penalty, and I'm gonna do it like this: homosexuality versus robbery, right? Both are wrong in my eyes, but one carries, a sentence.
Yeah, they both wrong. I'm with you on that.
right. But one carries a sentence and one doesn't carry a sentence. You get what I'm saying? Being his robbery, you might go jail, you're gonna get your time, probably, you know what I mean? Because it's wrong in a way where people might want to execute the laws against you. But the homosexual, which is wrong, there's no crime, right? You can do as many guys or girls you want, and nobody's. Now people might look at you and shame you, like, oh, whatever. A few bit, that's going less and less. But
let's go to the crime element. So why would you say crime is kind of not a choice then?
I just gave it to you. Everybody does wrong. Nobody's perfect, right?
But I'm
It's
saying
just that
you.
everybody has imperfections. Some people imperfections violate laws of the land, which cause them to get trouble. Other people's imperfections, most imperfections, are not adjusted by the laws of the land. Make
So if
sense?
I'm sophisticated jerk, I want to become Franklin Saint. I want to get them kilos. You saying I don't have no choice in that? I instead of doing that, crime, being a drug kingpin, I could have pivoted that to like choose to go to school or something. So you
No,
saying that's what I
no,
had to do.
right. It's whatever you desire to be, and this is going to make it more sense to you. The hood, right?
Uh-huh.
When they talk about the Pookies, the Ray Rays, and about the black community being trash, most people in the hood do not. Majority of people in the hood do not subscribe to the Pookies and the Ray Rays. Most niggas, homies in the hood are average. They become average people, right? They move on to better things. So
Yeah.
it's not because in the hood we all have different aspirations. Is what I'm trying to say. We all don't there's some homies I grew up with. They want to gang bang, shoot them up, bang bang, right? Now other dudes I grew up with want to sell dope, but then I had other homies grew up. We want to play sports. Then I had other homies want to go to school and chase girls and be doctors and lawyers. Then I had other homies just want to do family stuff, right? Stay in the family, keep everything, go to school, then just stay home and deal with their. They just stay. They're basically the guys who never leave the house, right? So everybody has different aspirations. Everybody ain't out selling dope, toting pistols, and slinging iron, right? We all have different aspirations of what we want out this life. That's why I say the people who do those things like shoot them up, bang bang, it's their desire. It's this is what they love to do. But the people who want to play sports, right? We different. But we cool with the dudes who doing that. You know what I mean? We like them. We grew up with them. We get on, but we're not doing that. We're not, hey man, if he pulls up and say, hey man, we finna go get these dudes. That would, we're gonna be like, man, I'm finna go shoot these 1,000 shots to get to the NBA. Fool, crazy.
Yeah. But let me throw something at you because okay, I get you with the aspirations because so say like I see the older cats, they getting money, they doing crimes in the hood, like you said. And I'm like, damn, man, I want to be like that. But then I also see them get arrested. And I see, the football numbers that they throwing at people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what, man? Even though I might have had aspirations and stuff like that,
right.
I don't want that smoke with the prison system. And I don't go that path, even though I had them aspirations. Wouldn't that kind of be a choice, though, that I did based on like what I seen?
No, it's just your aspiration wasn't as strong. Maybe you weren't right. Maybe you weren't as invested as the other guys, right?
You said invested.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, some dudes they don't care about the prison time. They'll tell you there's dudes out here right now. They don't care nothing about, but they finna go. This if they get disrespected, they're gonna get their man, and then the DA and them gonna have to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? There are dudes that don't care about the things you care about. You might have thought about it for a moment. Like, okay, yeah, that's cool, that's cool. But then there was other things that you desired more, like maybe I want a family one day. Right? You probably had that thought too, like, damn, I want a wife one day. And you probably saw that with that potential's there because you see a lot of examples. You was like, no, this is maybe that just something I entertain for a moment, but now I'm going to entertain. But this is what I really want to entertain. I really want to entertain, get to the bag and get this family and build my life. But what I'm saying is, it ultimately build who you are right now, Sophisticated Jake, and ultimately who you are. And if nobody can come in, if I come to you right now, hey, Fitzgerald, we're finna go rob this bank, man. I got 50 mil up in there. What's good? Here's this. I'm gonna throw you this pistol. Bam. Let's go. You're gonna say, okay. Or you're gonna be like, no, I'm cool. Ruthless in my life. I may not be the wealthiest, but everything's set. My family, I've raised my family. I got my wife. and I'm happy here. This is where I'm at. This is who I am. Are you gonna stick to that, or are you gonna go with me to go try to get ahead?
Hell no, I'm sticking on my path, man.
Okay, because this is who you are. This is in your mind, like this is who I am. And of course, you want more. You know what I mean? You want more. We always want more. But
Yeah.
you rather have the patience to at least, not take no risk for this to be all taken from you for something that's not guaranteed.
No, I get what you're saying, but also I think people, like, even if they went to jail, they might change their acts, based on, serving time and stuff. Because we see a lot of them people where, like, you came at them now, they're like, man, I did a stretch. Now you ain't about to go with you. So that's a choice too. Even though they had them aspirations, they didn't care about the sentencing, early on in their life. They still had that growth to realize, like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Is everybody ain't about that life. So that's them. See, when niggas.
So even if they put that work in, you still gonna be like, they ain't about that life.
Yeah. Listen, this is dudes who about that life. I got a homie, right? He got out the feds. He did 16 years, right? Got out for about a good 8-10 year stretch. Was doing good, had a business, everything. Corvettes, putting Lambos. Man, the man was exceeding expectations. But shit went bad, right? And he got and they went and did something, and now he's facing another life sentence, right?
See,
I bumped into his lawyer yesterday, right? And his lawyer says he's going all the way to trial. So I mean, I'm thinking they must have offered him like football numbers, right? And he's because he's like 56, so right, so he's definitely gonna take it all the way. He's not taking no deal like that. So my point to you, what I'm saying, but even when he was working and running the business, he always used to ask, "Hey man, I feel like I didn't do one. I feel like it was who he was, right? He being a citizen who's doing the right thing was not what he liked to do. He faked it so he could try to make it, but ultimately he went back to what he truly desired to do, is taking shit.
But do you think most people are like that?
And that's what the recidivism rate is, right? So the recidivism rate.
I'm saying you saying most of the population exhibits those traits. Is that guy?
No, in that world.
Oh yeah, in that world. Oh, no, I agree with you.
In that world, I'm speaking specifically to that type of people, right? Even if they slow down a little bit, it's always inching to go sell drugs. It's even though some homies might not sell drugs no more, right?
But do you think some of that is tied to like the fact that they can't go out there because they so boxed in? Like it's almost like you're trapped into like bad jobs to a degree where you can't properly earn that. Them rates kind of they return like that.
Yeah. It's tied into that. They've been forced. Most dudes are forced once they get out. They're like me. I had 8 years probation, 3 years parole. Right? I was trapped. I had to check in every week. I had a probation pull up in my house, pull up with vests. Sometimes with 2 or 3. What's good? What's going on? Right? And they had a box to me around me. You know what I mean? And I couldn't travel. I couldn't do nothing. So a lot of homies are coming out like that. So what I'm saying is this, ultimately. But the bank robber will always be in me. And I would never leave me. Now, at this point in my life, there is not a necessity for me to do it. But if, let's say I get into that place again, there's potential, the probability versus me versus you is way higher, right? Because it's more who I am, it's who I inspire to be at one point.
So why don't you do it again?
Because I'm in a position I don't have to, right? So, and that's the difference.
So what position? No, don't shy away from that. What position is that?
That position is getting.
So you comfortable now, right? You good? You getting that bread? Yeah. You out here eating Wagyu beef? You on that fly shit?
Yeah, but I'm just saying to get.
And nigga, that's a choice.
So I would fall to. No, it's not a choice. I will fall in a line. I fall in the line of get rich or die trying. That's why I fall. Huh?
Stop playing.
No, that's what I was.
You out here living that fly life. That's a choice.
No, I'm talking about from my earlier years.
But
You understand?
you still, like you said, if you had that in you, you were still that guy. You could still go do that
Yes.
and take that
Yes.
risk, but you choose not to
No, it's
because you got a certain standard of living that you like. You like being free. You
no, but
like chilling.
what I'm saying to you is follow me, right? My earlier years of life, where I fall in line is get rich or die trying. So meaning my ambitions were to my situation. Listen, when I get out after doing 11 years, guess what happened to me? I went back to jail for another crime. I went back to jail for a new case 2 years after I was out.
So how many did you do on that one?
On that one, I did like a year and 6 months.
Oh, okay.
And that because I got knowledge of the law. I knew exactly what to do where they couldn't really railroad. Like they couldn't give me no chunk because I knew how to make it. Okay, if I get caught, this is how I knew exactly what I was going to do, right? But I'm just saying, right? But I had.
So you ain't want to go back technically. That's why you knew the laws and stuff.
I didn't mind going back. I had no problem going back. I just didn't want them to stretch me out for. I knew exactly the type of crime I need to commit, which they couldn't stretch me out for football numbers.
So you pretty calculated to know all this stuff.
Ex-bank robber, former bank robber, quote. So I pot shit out, right? I think shit out, right? Going there, all those things. So yeah, it was, but it's who I am, right? So my point to you is I'm making is every individual, right? And it's different. This is why we're not a monolith. You, on the other hand, family man, very, I would say, you're very disciplined as far as, in your goals of where you want your house to go and what you want, the vision you have for you and your wife. And right, these are the things that you evolve, and this is where you're good at all these years because it's who you are. This is why she is with you, right? Because you're the type of guy that's going to stick to the plan, and you're not going to do nothing crazy or to subvert that plan or put you on the bad position because your nature of who you are as a man, as a provider, protector, husband, and lover, right? These are the things that obviously is who you are, and nobody can change that about you. That's who you are. And me, I'm opposite of you.
You a good dude, man. Stop playing. Like you might have that background because I don't talk a lot about my background, but I was a knucklehead, man. I was in a RICO case at like 16, So I made the choice to change because like after you see that type of stuff play out and I ain't tested no more. So I got lucky on that one, but I think you did the same thing. Like after you got that out of your system, you're experiencing a different type of living.
Huh? I went right back. You know what I'm saying? I went right back.
But how long ago was the last?
So I got out in 2006 from the federales, right? And I went back again to the state in 2010. And then I got out in 2012 and been out ever since.
Okay, so it's 2025. That's a long time. So that means that you actually process that information. You're like, look, I ain't doing that shit no more. I'm good.
For disclosure, right? Work smarter, not harder. Yeah, and you do with that, right?
Hey, don't be snitching on yourself. You better.
Hey, I ain't saying I did nothing. I ain't worried, right? I ain't saying I did nothing. But my point to you is the free will thing is a figment of the imagination. We all think that our bad is good now. And a lot of people think their good is good, but it's really bad. The way the women are leaving these relationships and are doing all these things, what they think is good is bad. And this is why I think that, and then I think that the good that we think we're doing as men, right, by, the things that we're doing, part of society, giving women all these rights, letting, people choose a gender, all these things are bad. Because they don't carry no jail time, he didn't kill nobody, right? So now you got niggas, I'm a boy, I'm a man. You know what I mean? And, so it's like, as people, we we think we know it all. This is why we're so divided, right? Because we think we have all the answers. Some men, marriage is the way. Go back to the nuclear family. That's how you build a community. Some of us is become a Democrat and follow the laws of the land, and you will reap the benefits of the great, the American dream, right? Some of us are, I don't like it. I don't like America. I'm just here. I just want to go to work every day. I don't want to be bothered. I don't get involved. I just want to live my life, right? And then there's others who, are just married and family men and raising their family and having their wives, right? So we all are in a position in this world which is by circumstance, not by choice. You have to get a job for the bills to get paid. That was not for you to have a wife and a life you have, even whether you're 50-50 or not, nigga, you still had to have a certain amount of income for her to even consider to do that with you. So if she was broke, talking about, I want to go 50-50, she would not got with you. She probably would have messed you a little, but then she would have dismissed you, right? So what I'm saying is we are forced into a situation, yet we don't want to admit it. We don't want to admit it, right? We the things we do, well, I'm not messing with a whole bunch of women because I have this wife, because even though I desire these women, there's some bad bitches over here that I want to tangle with. But is it, what I mean? But what can it cost me here if I get caught? Right? Some guys,
still a choice.
I now have a choice, because the I would say the risk reward is not worth, right? The risk versus the reward, right? A man of your caliber.
Risk and reward is a choice construct. But real quick, even going back to when you was talking about the whole, politics, because what you're saying to a certain degree is facts. Like, that's why I say, man, one thing I respect about you, man, you lay out a good argument where I agree with you on a lot of stuff, but to a certain degree, we got to perform. So like you said, there is that society core that you got to do, because you got to eat. Like you said, the necessities cost. So you can't even deny that. So yeah, you got to work to a certain degree to provide that. But when you introduce the politics, monogamy and all that stuff, all those are choices within that system. So that's what I'm saying. I think to a certain degree, yeah, we got to operate. It is kind of standardized, cookie cutter. You go with the flow, but you do have choices within that structure.
And that's your opinion.
No, that's facts based on what you said.
No, because now this is where I'm going to take you to. Now I'm going to take you out of the worldly aspect. I'm going to take you to the religious aspect. Okay,
let's go.
Right.
So, I got to roll out in a little bit, but I want to hear this.
So we know that now, take you to the religious plane, that God is the Alpha and the Omega. That he's the ultimate authority on earth. And no one is doing what they want to do or outside of his authority. And he has the keys to life and death. He has the keys to the breath of your lungs to take you out and not have it even explained, right?
Mm-hmm.
God is put all this together magnificently. The universe, the way the sun is located, the way the moon is located, how the universe is in its forms, right? Its paired form, how the water, like salt water, can mix with fresh water. Isn't that magnificent? So that we can have water to drink, because you can't drink salt water from the sea, right? So fresh water and salt water don't mix, because that way the people can have water to drink, and the water is constantly replenished so that we can have water to live. So this is where God is the ultimate provider, right? God ultimately provides everything we need to survive in this world. Even before we have all the technology, all the guns, all that, it was God provided for man to cook the food, right? Not all men eat poison stuff because they just didn't know what was to eat, so they all died out. No, he gave them a certain amount of knowledge, so how to, clean a fish, all the things in life God has provided for us, so that we're to this point, and we, for some reason, think that it was our concept, it's our doing. When these things we did not put here for us, we were born into this, right? The brain, your brain and how it operates, everything is imprinted by God. How your body is self-efficient, right? It cleanses itself.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell you about, hey, could you clean my body? It just does it. So God is orchestrating all this. You know what I mean? God has orchestrated all this so you can breathe air through your nostrils and walk around and have a brain to think, right? God has orchestrated. So this is where you have to understand, right? That it's no way that you are going to you're not even come close to God's knowledge and wisdom. It's just impossible. Because
no, that's a fact. But here's where your theory goes wrong, because even though he provided all that's facts. We could have had like a good living. It could have been simplistic. We would have had to be on no 9-to-5s. We would have had to been in a consumerism type capitalistic type societies and stuff. But we chose to overcomplicate it with our negligence. We chose to make our lives harder. So that's where we deviated from that simpleness. So yeah, we screwed it up. So that's why now we got to deal with all these consequences with choices.
And how was that possible?
Because we ate the fruit of knowledge, which he said don't do, because we was hard-headed, which was a clear choice in the Bible.
Well,
so that's what I'm saying.
That actually was a choice. He said, if you really look at the scriptures again, right? He said, of every tree you may eat of, but the tree of knowledge, good and evil, the tree you may not eat of, but in the day you shall eat of it, meaning you're going to, you shall surely die. So God told them they was going to eat of it. So a lot of people miss that.
We still had that choice, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, he still left a little bit of wiggle room for that choice.
No, because you had to eat. Adam had to eat the fruit. You know why Adam and Eve had to eat the fruit? Because through them eating the fruit, right? Because everything about God, why are we here? Why do you think we're here? We just here because God is amused. Right?
No, he created everything with a purpose, but I mean, even then, he still gave us choice. But why would he be mad if he already had that planned out and we deviated from that? So that's what I'm saying.
He's here to exhibit mercy to those who don't deserve mercy. Okay, so that's why we're here, right? There's no other reason that God would have to even let this go out, right? He's here to put on a show of his greatness, of how he can manage all this with ease. People talking about being managers and managing a group of men. Manages universe.
Okay.
Can you manage the universe?
But hey, Ruthless, I got to roll out, man. I just want to come show you some love, man. Since you always be supportive of everybody, man. Keep doing your thing. Let me know if you ever want to be the pull up, man. Reach out to me, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, bro.
This is my one stream. I'm doing a stream tomorrow, but it'll be on Twitch. And Monday I'm doing, but this with the girls. We're gonna do some comedy and some intellectualism, and then.
Oh, okay. What y'all gonna be talking about over there?
Well, we're gonna be we're doing Truth and Dare. Then we're gonna talk about
oh shit.
If you have to do life all over again, what would you do different? Different things like that, sort of.
So Ruthless. God made them chicks appear up in your place and all that. That's not a choice.
Yeah, God gave them all to me. Everybody don't have access to these women.
Shout out to Ruthless. But all right, man, take care, man.
Thanks for coming. And there it is, folks. We can conclude the stream. Thank you for coming. Like, subscribe, share, subscribe. In conclusion, We know that God can't be beat. And that's that. Have a good night.
Women cheat for attention and understanding.